It's a great pleasure for me to be able to address our good friends in the communities of Istanbul and Izmir, Turkey in general, who have been connected to for some years now, encouraging and helping people discover their roots and improve their awareness of their commitments to the Torah and the mitzvot, and to their own outstanding heritage of greatness in every area as leaders of the Jews for maybe 500-600 years now, that the Turkish community and the rabbis of Turkey have been the leaders of the entire Jewish nation. Almost every time they needed a chief rabbi in Yerushalayim, they imported him from Turkey. To mention but a few, the famous author of the Hikre Lev, Rabbi Hazan, and then his son after him, Haim David Hazan, and many other great Hachamim who were originally from Turkey and were the leaders of the community in Yerushalayim. Besides the fact of the great Turkish rabbis from the time of the Beit Yosef, Rabbi Yosef Karo, who wrote the Shulchan Aruch, all the way down to our times, their books are adorning any library, any Hebrew library. These are the books upon which all the decisions are based, guidance is taken till this very day. We cannot move 1 inch in the area of understanding our beautiful Torah without delving into the books of the great Turkish Hachamim. In fact, there were 2 major printing houses in Turkey, both in Istanbul and Izmir, where thousands and thousands of Jewish books were printed, and these books today contain all the information in the world. That's why we feel that the community in Turkey is very precious, because they stem from great ancestors, and the community and the names of the families and the customs and the tradition is all based on what they have received from their parents and teachers before them, going back to all these great Hachamim, these great rabbis, and obviously a community who has such deep roots and such great, outstanding leadership of Klal Yisrael, the Jewish nation, for 500, 600 years. It's a very great thing that this tradition should be passed on and should be part of the future of the Turkish community as well. The concept of a community is very important. I am very well aware of the history of Turkey in the last 100 years, 80 years, all the political upheavals, etc., which did not help so much the preserving of traditions, of religion, etc. Okay, it was not easy, I understand. But we see today that there are openings and there are opportunities, and we have to grab them and hang on to them before, Has v'Shalom, it should be too late for the new generation receiving our tradition in a proper way and carrying on in that path which was so successful and so blessed for the Turkish communities for so many hundreds of years. Having mentioned the community, we have to specify the quality of unity. Even those who plan or have intentions to, at some stage, to come to Eretz Israel, to build homes in Eretz Israel, it's important that they remain a united community. To this end, we're trying to help as well create centers of study, of synagogues, prayers, which will be conducted in accordance with the Turkish customs, with rabbis who speak the language, who will be, of course, available for those coming. And so strengthening the community in Turkey and strengthening them wherever they want to go, whether it's to Israel or anywhere else, in the coming years, at least we should have united communities of Turkish Jewry under proper guidance and leadership, helping the laymen and their children and their wives to find a good medium, a good opportunity for preserving their traditions and their customs, which are beautiful and special and outstanding in the way of the Torah and the mitzvot. Being a time of the days of repentance, it means it's a time when we have to look into our deeds, see where we can improve, whether it's Ben Adam Lemakom, whether it's between us and God, realizing that God created the world for a purpose. He chose us as His people. He gave us a wonderful Torah to study and to keep its mitzvot, as well as Ben Adam L'Havero, in our relationships with our fellow men, people of the community, to be nice, accommodating, helpful to one another in every area. Those who are more advanced spiritually should help others advance. Those who are better off can help those who are needy. Everyone has an area where he can be able to perform the mitzvah of Gimilut Hasadim, which means being kind to others and helping others, which our religion is based upon. As it says, Amarti Olam Hesed Yibaneh. The pasuk says, the verse says, I have created the world based on loving kindness, on doing good, on being charitable, on being kind. Our rabbis teach us in Pirkei Avot, Da me'ayin bata, ulan ata holech. You should know where you come from and where you're going. So, this is a very important and a very deep lesson. Let's say today, although scientifically the theory of Darwin has never been proved, there's no missing link, but it's the most convenient theory which people hang on to as absolute truth. Why? Because it's very comfortable for them, very making no demands on them, to think that their grandpa was a chimpanzee, and they are now very developed, modern and intellectual and scientific people who have surpassed their forefathers. Of course, it's just the opposite, as we see that people today are becoming monkeys on a daily basis. So really, when we say, where do you come from, we have to remember, any family you take from the Turkish community, whether it's Kimhi or Bin Benesti or Ashkenazi, all these, and I could go on, Kalaora, anyone you want, all these families have deep roots and they come from giants, from holy men, from great, great, great wise rabbis. Their grandparents were not chimpanzees, and we come further back from Abraham, Yitzhak and Yaakov, and we go all the way up to Adam Arishon, who was created by God Himself. Da me'ayin bata, remember always where you came from and your responsibility to behave accordingly in a proper way to bring honor to your family names and your genetic roots. Ulan ata holech, where are you going? The Jewish people have great opportunities. There's a lot of good waiting for them. We've suffered almost 2,000 years of exile since the destruction of the temple. From generation to generation, we have given up our lives to remain Jewish and keep our holy tradition. As you know, probably 90%, if not 100%, of the Turkish communities are from the of the exiles of the Spanish expulsion, the Inquisition, those who suffered at the hands of the Catholic Church, who were burning Jews to death for their belief, or that they had to leave with nothing. They went from Spain through North Africa, making communities on their way, and many of them ended up in Greece and Turkey, which at the time Greece was also part of Turkey, as we know. And Saloniki, Izmir, and Istanbul became great centers of the original Spanish tradition. So we now know where we come from. After all this suffering of 2,000 years, we're very now close to the coming of the Mashiach, to the building of the temple. We see how Hashem is doing outstanding things for the Jewish people and helping them in every area miraculously. Here in Israel, we know that we exist on miracles. We are surrounded with vicious enemies who want to destroy us. They keep shooting missiles at us. Maybe if we would say the last 20 years, 100,000 missiles, out of which 99% landed in empty spaces which don't even exist in Israel. The whole of Israel is a tiny strip of land with no empty spaces, a few backyards. And yet 99% of the missiles are landing in empty spaces. Sometimes there's a direct hit, and then they tell us on the radio that, oh, just by the way, the people left the house 5 minutes before the missile hit. Almost zero the consequences of these missiles. Anyone who wants to see a miracle bigger than the splitting of the Red Sea can be assured it's how we live today, the Jewish people all over the world. Hashem is protecting us and showing us how much He loves us and what a great future we have. So, Wul'an ata holech, where are you going? My last message is that those of you who do plan to come to Israel, you know, for the last 500 years, coming to Israel is called Aliyah. Aliyah. Okay? Aliyah means going up. And the truth is, if you want to come to Israel, you have to set your sights high. If you set your new sights high, maybe you'll level off nicely. Because there are also, difficulties in Israel to acclimatize to sometimes quite a secular style of life. If you think you come like you are in Turkey and be at the similar level, you go down. Therefore, we feel that this concept of communities for the Turkish people with Turkish rabbis and education and teaching and maybe eventually schools is going to very, very much benefit the community, that it will be a real aliyah. Those who will come will really go up and be successful in every way, both in the realm of spirituality and in their business and their dealings. They should be blessed. Hashem should bless you all with a happy new year, great success in all you do, protect you all and save you all from all sorts of dangers and suffering. And everyone should be happy and successful and united as a wonderful, healthy, special community. Amen. Ken Hi Ratzon.